How to structure your training as a b-boy or a b-girl. Well, that's something you'll probably have more clarity on by the end of this video. Boom, what's up guys? This is your boy Coach Sambo. Now, as somebody who's been coaching for over 20 years, I bet I could help you out with a thing or two. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you guys all the different types of training that are very effective, creating more clarity on how you should spend your time more effectively, depending on your ambitions, of course. So in this video, I'm gonna go through a bunch of slides because when I teach my own students or when I teach workshops, I love to work with PowerPoint. So in this video, it'll be the first time that I'm actually gonna use a PowerPoint to help me clarify my content. So sit back, relax, maybe grab a notebook because we're gonna dive straight into this. Oh, but first, don't forget to
give me 5 motherfucking push-ups.
All right, so boom, structure your training by Coach Sambo. Every individual has different ambitions, needs, body types, schedules, experience, and natural talents. It will be up to you to decide and structure your perfect training schedule according to your circumstances. That's right, I'll be exposing you to tons of different ways of practicing or tons of different ways to invest your time, and it's up to you to kind of piece the puzzle together because I ain't no wizard that can magically predict what your specific needs are. However, I can very well predict and list what the different training types are. So here we go. You can dedicate a full training to one type of training session, or you can do 10 minutes of each. So whatever schedule you might create for yourself, the basic framing of a physical training should consist out of 3 parts. Obviously, you have your warm-up, then you have the execution of your goal, which is basically your training session, and then at the end, you have your cool down, that mostly consists out of stretching. Now, I just wanted to add this really quick because I know this is common sense for most people. However, in my experience, especially when I travel, I don't see a lot of b-boys and b-girls actually apply this. A lot of people skip warm-up and a lot of people skip the cool down part, which is creating tremendous disadvantage for you. But keep that in mind as you move forwards through life and go to your future training sessions. Warming up is just gonna help you prevent injury. Cooling down and stretching at the end of your practice will help you feel better the next day and also will help you improve and maintain your flexibility.
Oh no, we don't want that.
Now here's an overview of the types of training sessions for b-boys and b-girls. First, we have our recreational practice. Then we have competition prep, vocabulary expansion, vocabulary maintenance, training sessions on weaknesses and strengths, physical training, and then mental training. So let's start with recreational practice. Now the first goal of a recreational practice is having fun, relaxing, and basically just enjoying the dance. Next thing you want to do when you're having a recreational practice is just enjoy the music and don't overthink stuff or hurt yourself or whatever. Then during recreational practice, you want to jam and socialize with friends and the community. Something you can do with any type of practice. But for a lot of professional b-boys and b-girls, they're lacking this. So it's good to just focus more on jamming and socializing with other people. Next, during a recreational practice, you want to just let yourself go in the cypher. Also, for some people, a recreational practice can be just basic exercise after a long day's work. And then maybe the most important of all is during a recreational practice, you just want to express yourself. Because at the end of the day, dance is a form of expression. So that's recreational practice. And if you ask me, most b-boys and b-girls out there, when they go to practice, it's mostly recreational. Even for a lot of high-level b-boys and b-girls. Because awareness on what type of training sessions there actually should be is still pretty rare. So I think a lot of people get their basic needs in a recreational practice. However, hopefully at the end of this video, you'll have some new insights. You'll get to divide and utilize your time a lot better so you can speed up your process and reach a higher level than you would organically reach by just having recreational practice sessions. The next type of training is competition prep. And what happens when you have training sessions dedicated to competition preps? Well, first of all, you should spend time and energy organizing your full arsenal, which is a major problem with a lot of b-boys and b-girls. They have zero organization whatsoever. They might have a few notes somewhere in their backpack, or they might have some notes on their phone or whatever. But I say very clearly, organize full arsenal. You should have a full overview of every move and every combo you ever executed in your life. And I know it sounds a little bit too crazy, right? But no, trust me, if your ambitions are to be at the highest level possible, which is at this moment, these Olympic competitions, b-boys and b-girls are required to execute 16 to 18 rounds to win such an event. Well, I mean, good luck trying to achieve that without without having any type of notes or organization or full overview of your arsenal. What you should also do during competition prep is, of course, compose your battle rounds. And there are many different ways on how to compose round together. A lot of people had different philosophies and different strategies, but at the end of the day, it still has to be composed and it still has to be prepped. So it's gonna take time. Next is optimizing content and battle rounds. So whatever you have prepared for your competition, it still has to be optimized and it still has to get modified and upgraded to amplify the chances of you getting better results in competition. It takes a lot of observing and experimenting to get your content to the next level. Next is training and sharpening battle content. So obviously you can prepare as much as you want, but if you're not gonna train the actual content, which might consume more time than the actual composing itself, yeah, then you're not gonna be very successful in competition. And the last one I wanted to include right here is just losing battles. A big part of preparing to win competitions is losing competitions. Because when you lose competitions, you get to see exactly what the needs are for your rounds and what the needs are for your execution and stuff like that. If you need guidance on how to prepare correctly for battles and competition, I could recommend you to check out my masterclass, which is the Prep for Battle Masterclass. You can find more information on this masterclass in the description down below. Next type of training is vocabulary expansion. So what happens during vocabulary expansion? Well, you spend your time learning, trying, creating, and training new moves, which basically speaks for itself, right? Same for learning, trying, creating, and training new combos. Learning, trying, creating, and training new concepts. Then we have expanding, developing, and or experimenting with existing content. So that means certain moves or combos that you're already able to do, but you want to spend some time trying out new possibilities and combining it with other moves, or pushing limits by trying out new forms and new shapes. Basically, it's new stuff, so it's expanding your vocabulary. And then we have documenting new or upgraded content. So obviously, when you're expanding your vocabulary, you want to keep good track of everything. So add everything to your notes, keep videos, have them well organized, and so on and so on. Next is vocabulary maintenance, which is only possible when having a clear overview. Yeah, so how are you going to maintain a full vocabulary if you don't have a full overview? I mean, realistically, if you're able to do, let's say, 600 different moves and combos and you don't have notes or anything, then you're probably only going to practice and maintain maybe like 10-15% of that. Again, having clear overview over everything is just the smartest and most efficient way to work. So during a vocabulary maintenance practice, you want to be rehearsing and reviewing that full arsenal. And while doing that, you'll be sharpening your memory, your knowledge, and that overview. In other words, there might be a lot of moves or combos you already know how to do, but because you're not maintaining it, you're never putting it to use, which is a shame because you need a lot of moves to get where you want to go at a competitive level. But also you might have some really dope ideas and dope concepts and dope combos hidden in those moves that you're never using. Then we have sharpening execution on established content. So yeah, you know how to do a certain halo variation and you use that certain halo variation from time to time. But by working in a smart and efficient way and maintaining it, the move can only get better. And when a move gets faster, sharper, stronger, and more confident, the value goes up when you execute it in competition. Next is hitting reps on specific moves or combos. So for example, your air flares and you just want them to be cleaner and you just want them to be sharper, then that's something you can do during a vocabulary maintenance training. And then when you go through your full vocabulary for maintenance, you can shed light on unused or unfinished content. That speaks for itself, right? That old idea you had 6 months ago that you wrote down and had a small video of, and by going through your stuff, you'll get reminded of that. And maybe at that point, you will have a certain idea on how to complete that combo so you can start using it for competition. Next is weaknesses and strengths. Yes, you can spend a training session or time during your training session focusing on your weaknesses or even on your strengths. So during these sessions, you're training learned moves and combos that are not mastered for use. So you know how to do a baby mill, but you're not confident with it yet, then basically it can be seen as a weakness. So you want to spend time just working on that weakness. And same for combos. For example, going from flare to 90. You're almost there, but you know it's not a strength. Hey, why not spend some time working on that little weakness right there? And I bet you have a few, so it's pretty good to work on these things. When working on your strengths, it's good to push the level and the possibility on the mastered content. So hey, you're really good at head spins, then why not practice them some more? Just raise the level. Have more variations at your disposal or more options for combos. Next is gaining better balance within the vocabulary elements. So you power move, your freezes, top rock, footwork, blow-ups. You might be really good at all of them, but there's a really big chance that one of them just might be a weakness as well. For example, if footwork is one of your weaknesses, then why not dedicate a training session just to footwork? Because you know you're lacking in that specific specific element. Same for developing and sharpening execution aspects. Musicality, speed, flow, basic control, good strategy, awareness. I mean, if you suck at musicality, it would be good to dedicate 1 hour of practice to musicality, or speed, or flow, or whatever your specific weakness might be. Same the other way around for your strength. If you know your musicality is really good, hey, why not practice it even more so you reach that God level when it comes to musicality. Next is developing composition aspects, such as freestyling. Your transitions lack in certain elements. Composition aspects for me are key points on how to compose your round together. Freestyling or transitions is a very essential part when combining bigger combos together. And then a very common weakness for a lot of people is doing any type of moves in the opposite direction. And the most important are footwork and freezes. You want to be able to do all your footworks in both directions, and you want to be able to do all your freezes on both sides. Why not spend some time working on that? Moving on to our physical training, which is something that is not being done enough, if you ask me. It's definitely improving over the years, because compared to 20 years ago, nobody was doing that kind of stuff. There was also no knowledge going around when it came to physical training. Now, what are our goals during physical training as a b-boy or a b-girl? Well, first and foremost, you want to prevent injury. That's right, you want to do a lot of core exercises just to prevent injury, so you can go harder, longer, and just avoid the misery of being injured. And I bet you all know what it feels like to be injured. Next is developing strength and explosiveness. Yes, the stronger you are and the more explosive you are as a b-boy or b-girl, the better, of course. Developing speed and lightweight when executing your moves. Physical training will help you do that. Next is increasing flexibility and mobility. But the more flexible you are and the more mobility you have, the more shapes and the more original transitions and the more difficult techniques you can actually start to execute. Very important. And I know stretching isn't fun, but the value within stretching is beyond this world. And then last is, of course, increasing stamina. You want to work on your stamina, because if you're in a one-on-one final and that final is 5 rounds, you got to make sure you're ready for those 5 rounds, because it's going to be at the end of the event and you've been dancing all day and you might be tired from travel and all these kind of things. So having a really good stamina as a b-boy or a b-girl is a must. There's no way around it. You're not gonna get a really good stamina just by breaking. You need these physical trainings. Next and last training type that I share with you guys right here, mental training. And I'm gonna be honest, this is Coach Sambo Gold right here.
You will not find other place on YouTube this information.
Starting off with goal setting, long and short term. That's right, here in your mind, you wanna have a very clear overview on what your goals are, moves you wanna be able to execute, events you want to attend and win, amount of rounds you want to have ready for competition. These are all very good things to set right here mentally, so you can use that as fuel for the hard work that is about to follow. Next is visualizing goals and achievements. Guys, whatever I achieved as a b-boy or as a coach, whether it's winning my country's Red Bull, winning Battle of the Year Kids twice, or getting flown out overseas to compete in international television shows, everything was visualized in advance right here. Even this video I'm making right now, the slides you're watching was visualized in advance right here. The power of visualizing stuff is incredible and is basically a skill by itself. I have noticed over the years that a lot of people don't visualize. It's not that they don't know how to visualize, it's just they never put in the time and the energy to visualize. The payoff is well worth it. Next, we have visualizing your arsenal and rounds. So yeah, specifically when training for competition, you can do your rounds and you can practice them as much as you want, but at a certain point you have to give your body a little bit of rest. But a great way to stay productive is by visualizing your rounds, your arsenal, your combos in your mind. And you can do it whenever you want. You can do it before you go to bed. You can do it while you're sitting on a train or flying on a plane, or visualizing that stuff is just gold. Next, we have self-talk, motivation, and discipline. Yes, it's definitely a mental thing to make sure that inner conversation is healthy in a way. Keep yourself motivated, but the hardest one of them all is just staying disciplined throughout the highs and the lows in your career. It's a mental training by itself. That's why it's included in this list. And make sure you don't listen to trash, listen to quality podcasts, and read books. Next, we have problem solving. And the problem that has to be solved with a lot of people is like agenda and scheduling. You have a full-time job, or you have kids and a wife, or other obligations. It's up to you to solve these problems. And problem solving happens right here. So if you want to get to that next level, you're going to have to solve a few problems left and right. And then last is overall mental health. Yeah, you got to make sure you're reliable and healthy right here if you want to reach insane goals. Do whatever it takes to make sure you have the right mental state. Because sadly, sadly in this world, we have a lot of people with mental health issues. And when these occur, it's really hard for these people to just be consistent, even with normal things in life. So imagine trying to become the best B-boy or B-girl or winning international competitions. Yeah, it's just not gonna happen. There you have it, all the different training types that I could think of. Yeah, I know, it's not your average breaking video, right? Well, hopefully you get a little bit more insight on how I get to achieve these results with my students. A big part of it is just knowing what to practice and when to practice. And I mean, a lot of it makes sense, right? If you're a beginner, you want to spend a lot of time on vocabulary expansion and physical training. If you've been breaking for 10 years now, then it's mostly going to be competition prep and physical training. Well, the physical training is going to be for everyone, basically. If you're a little older, you're my age, then you want to do a lot of physical training. And then depending on your ambitions, maybe competition prep or just recreational training. You get the picture, right? It's up to you to decide your own schedule and how much time you have to invest on these different training types within breaking. So yeah, if you're still watching this video up to now, I want to thank you, and I want to remind you that I have a lot of other videos available on my YouTube channel and also a bunch of master classes that really go in depth that you can find on my website. So hey, this is your boy Coach Sambo, your online B-boy coach. At the end of the day, my good friends, when you think about it, it's just all about that B-boy shit. Peace.